I am paying you a ridiculous amount of money
every month
are. For your platform, and you're just like, no, you can't do it that way. Why? There's no reason why.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. I still approved, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading cards, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Okay, look, I know you've missed it, so let me bring us back to the old ways, coming in hot.
Patrick, how was your Friday?
Let me ask you some questions.
Yes.
Specifically, how do you do this procedure question?
Okay.
To find out how to do things.
Sure.
Let's say you have someone who is doing a split payment.
Okay.
And just for the sake of argument, one is a gift card. Fine.
Right.
They don't know how much is on it.
We can check.
So, well, it's not one of ours. It's a Visa gift card.
Oh, okay. We can't
so,
check.
Fine. Figure out it's $50. Fine. $3 left. All their credit cards declined. Okay. Can you take out this one comic?
I would not know how to. I mean,
you can't.
You really can't. Once you start taking payment, you're
once
kinda
you
locked
start
in.
taking payment, that's it.
I mean, it's kind of. We never really dealt with that before because our payment processor was not our point of sale system. We did transactions on Square,
right?
Then we rang them up on RMH and RMS. So Square didn't understand when you were checking somebody out, like if you were in the middle of a transaction or not in the middle of a transaction. So like. You'd kind of have to cancel everything out on Square and then start from scratch. And I don't know how well that would work with a gift card because there's a set amount of money on the gift card.
Right.
And it usually takes like 24 to 48 hours for that money to go back.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, what I'd probably do is basically like take out what, like, you'd have to basically figure out like, okay, what is the new total? Like, what are you taking out? And then what is, on a calculator, what is the new total? Finish out the transaction, like basically plug in as cash whatever the remainder is.
Right.
Then you finished out the transaction, and then you basically would have to then refund to them whatever fraction of $50 they haven't spent, and then refund through the system whatever extra dollar amount you don't have in there anymore. That's kind of all you can do. Short of like basically going, no, here's your card back, you'll get your money back in 48 hours, good luck.
It was a younger person who was clearly a little in over their head. So here's what I did.
Yeah.
Here's your comics. You owe me $370. Do not forget. You come back.
That's
you owe
fine.
me $370.
That's fine too.
Oh, I won't forget. I won't forget. I believe you.
Yes.
The difference? Square gift card.
Okay, that's fine too.
Yeah. I mean, we ate $370, but
hopefully we haven't ate it for long.
Right, and hopefully that's some goodwill.
Yeah, I mean that's a way you can go with it. But yeah, if you needed to do it another way, it would basically be faking the rest of the tender, and then in the aftermath trying to figure out like, okay, here's how I'm going to refund that into the system, which is more difficult with Shopify because in RMH you could just say, I'm refunding this amount, and you're done. With Shopify, it's like, okay, cool. What transaction specifically are you refunding, and how is it being refunded?
Exactly, which to the penny.
But I mean, that's again
a
thing you could kind of do with this because you're just going back into that transaction, taking the one comic that they took off. And
are you talking about doing that on the desktop or doing it in the register?
Either one.
Okay.
And then you're basically saying, okay, this is being refunded in cash. It's not, but you faked taking the payment in cash so you can refund it in cash, and it's fine. I think that's a way you could do it.
That is not at all why I'm coming in hot.
Okay.
That was just...
I figured. That's just a dumb thing.
That's a build-up.
Okay.
So here's the thing, and I'm going to preface this by saying it's not entirely the customer's fault, but you will find plenty of reason to blame them for it.
Okay.
But let's say we have a subscriber who has not been in for a while, maybe has their own box set aside because of how many things they have,
Yep.
and then says, I just want half. And I say, here's your stack, pick what you want.
Uh-huh.
So they just grab half and say, I'll take this half.
Okay.
All right. What do you do?
Well, you would go to the order hover tile, and then you would unflag whatever items are not being pulled into the transaction, and then you hit add items to cart. So then everything that's flagged, which is what they're getting, would then go to the cart. And then you check the transaction out as normal.
Sure. That's exactly right.
Right.
So you go through the full list that is in no order.
I think it's in like a reverse chronological order.
It's in reverse pull order.
Right, so chronological, basically.
Right, but also it's like, how hard would it fucking be for there to be a sort alphabetically tile or button?
That would be a nice option.
Oh my God. Because you're going through everything and like pulling this one out, pulling this one out. Luckily, it's like, oh, like this group of three is together, this group of three together. But also, they flip through and things are...
Yeah, that's what makes it harder, is that they're not buying it in the order we received it. They're just saying like, oh, these titles I do want right now, and these titles I don't want right now. And it's like, well, some of that is older than the stuff that you're getting.
Okay.
Which is a pain.
So then you hit send to cart.
Right.
And then it hangs up on the last book and just keeps spinning.
Oh.
And spinning.
Yeah, that's...
And spinning.
That's a...
On just the last one.
That's a problem for
and then
comics.
And I said, hey, go shop. It's going to be a while for I'm ready for you.
Right.
And then people need to get rung up.
Right.
So what do? You hit close.
Okay.
So you can ring somebody else up.
Okay.
And then you go back in and it's pulled up. Here's how I don't know how to explain this. The combined total of books was, let's say, 66 books.
Okay.
And then it pulls up on the screen 66 items.
Okay.
But you got rid of half of the items.
Clearly you did not.
And then you're like, fine, I'll take them out of the transaction. You scroll through. Those books aren't there.
What books?
The books you removed.
Okay.
The books that they're putting back.
Okay.
So it's just a full list of books, a full list of 66 books, which your pile now is only supposed to be 42 books because they took out the other 20 whatever books.
Okay.
Yet there's books in the register transaction that are not part of this.
Okay. That were not in their pulls?
Their combined pulls were 66 books.
Got it.
They're only buying 42 books.
Right.
So it wasn't 66, but that's the number I'm using.
Right.
20 some odd books got set aside.
So 24 books are set aside.
So they're only buying 42 books. You removed 20 some odd books
24,
from their...
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When it imports, it's 66 books. It is not... But it's not the two piles combined. Pile that's putting back, not part of it.
So what are the extra books?
No idea.
I mean, were they... Like, literally, like... Can you give me an example of one of the extra... Is it, like, a random item from the database? Is it a duplicated item that they already got? Is it something...
I think it's an item they already bought.
Okay.
Because it's all stuff that they were down for.
Okay.
But nothing that was in the pile.
Okay. What we've seen sometimes is weird Phantom comics. Not literally the character Phantom.
Right.
But, like, people will have, like, hey, Danger Street's still on my list, and I got that last time. And it's like, oh, we did import that into your cart. You did buy it. For whatever reason, it hung around on your
Yeah,
account.
that happened today with another club member who had a big stack of books. I'm like, great, the count is off by one. Let me dig through it all. Oh, Dark Web X-Men.
Yeah.
That's one that's been happening to everybody. I should have remembered that, but I didn't.
We see a lot with Danger Street #1 for some reason.
Okay. So, and again, there's a line.
Of course there is. That's the only time it ever happens.
So here's what I do. Clear cart. Ring everything up by hand. Take this receipt home.
Oh, God.
Because now I got to go in and change quantities.
Yeah.
Luckily, half this stuff is special covers that we'd never carried for the shelf.
Okay.
But I still have to go through this list and...
One of the things you can do...
This list. I wanted there to be a sound effect.
Sure. You can go into that order on the manager side, and then you'll see all the items that are in it, and then you can just right-click, open a new tab, all of these items, and then you can just change each quantity instead of having to necessarily like have a hard copy.
Can you say that again? Right-click, open.
Yeah, just like basically you'll see an itemized list of everything on that order.
Yeah.
And each of the items is a clickable link.
Okay.
Normally, if you click it, it would change the screen into whatever that item is, but you want to change 42 items.
Right.
So I would just open each of those items in a new tab.
Oh, okay.
And then
you made
do
it sound
that
like I could open one tab for all 42 items.
No.
And I thought, that's amazing.
No, I mean...
Tell me how to do this.
I don't...
Please work your magic.
Honestly, maybe. I gotta look at the manager side because there's a lot of ways that you can sort different data points.
Do you care like this? I'm not going to change the quantity. That wasn't a shelf book.
It's fine.
I mean, you hesitated. Would you rather I change it all?
If it's not a shelf book, you can skip it.
I hear you saying those words. I don't feel the conviction behind it.
I don't want to make you extra work. It's not. Don't worry about it.
Okay. No, just I'll change them all. So, yeah, this is incredibly frustrating. And guess what? As you were explaining what to do, I realized the thing that I did wrong. I didn't unflag all the books he was putting back. I hit the X's. So guess what?
They're not on his account.
It's not on his account anymore. So they're all in a bag that says "not on account, need to be scanned."
Okay.
But I don't know how to put those. I've never known how to put books onto an account after the fact.
You can't. Can't be done.
But the one thing I do know is that Xing them out of somebody's account doesn't put them back into inventory.
No.
So we don't have to worry about those books being sold.
Correct.
It's just that when, in 2 months or whenever, they inevitably come back, this has to happen again.
Yes.
Okay. This is normally a thing you would have gotten a call for, but there was no time.
I understand. Yeah, that's all very unfortunate. That is a huge record-keeping nightmare.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Jesus.
And I hear the disappointment in your voice, and I feel like I should have been able to fix it.
I'm just trying to think of what the better way to do that would have been, because this is definitely the way that creates a lot of extra work, and that's unfortunate.
I know the way. Buy everything in your whole box.
Yeah, that would help. Yeah, I mean, certainly, like, when you have a bug midway through the process, everything that's going to happen after that is going to be a gigantic pain in the ass. There's no way around that. Like, basically, if everything had gone to the cart correctly, no problem.
No problem.
It's when things don't go to the cart where it's like one of the things we found that's kind of a dumb bug is that if you... I'm trying to think of how this worked. Basically, like, if you are a subscriber, okay, and you take your subscriptions and we move your subscriptions to the cart. If we then clear cart, because we need to do another transaction, it puts all those comics back in your box.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is...
Actually, I didn't know that was the thing for sure. I would just assume that...
If you clear cart, it puts everything back in your box.
Okay.
Here's the problem. One of the steps in the process is that it adds the comics to inventory, right? Like, it's basically taking subscription copies and moving them to active copies so that when you check out the transaction, you've moved it up by 1 to then reduce it by 1. So it's, even though it's not pulling from shelf copies, it's increasing your quantity enough to allocate whatever else that you're currently checking out. Understand? Let's say you have 4 copies of Batman 131 on your shelf.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm explaining this for the audience.
I just don't know why it happens like that.
For the audience, I'm explaining it this way. One of the dumb things about Shopify, we're going to go all the way back now. One of the dumb things about Shopify is that you cannot reserve...
Let me back up.
Inventory. Let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. One of the dumb things about Shopify is that you can't reserve a quantity of items. You basically have... If you have 20 copies of Batman 131 in your Shopify inventory...
What a topical number.
Thank you. You can't say, okay, well, 15 of those are on the shelf and 5 of those are reserved for customers. You don't. You have 20 copies. Those 20 copies are for sale online. If you have it listed online. You can't say, no, but some of these... No. They're all for sale,
or nothing.
Or none of them are for sale. It's either a draft item where they're not for sale or an active item where whatever quantity you've put in is for sale. So what Managed Comics has to do to make sure that you don't have all of your subscription copies available for purchase on your website and you're refunding people all day for things that you can't sell them is it leaves a quantity in a draft item version of the same item. So basically for Batman 131, there's an active item and those are your shelf copies and that's like 15 copies. And then there's a Batman 131 draft item, and that has 5 copies, and that's your subscription copies.
And it's called Batman 131 parentheses subscription.
Right. So because Shopify POS will not allow you to sell draft items to an in-store customer, it will only sell active items. What the order helper tile has to do is, while putting that into a cart for you to sell in store, it basically has to say, okay, we're reducing the draft item, Batman 131 subscription, by 1 copy. And then, as a separate process, we're increasing the Batman 131 active item, the shelf copies, by 1. So that when you check out this point-of-sale transaction, the numbers will balance. Your shelf copies will stay at 15, and your draft copies will go down to 4. That's basically how it works. That's the process behind the scenes of what's happening.
Sorry, did you say 16 and 4?
But that's the thing. It was 15 and 5.
Right.
But then once you check everything out, it'll briefly go up to 16 and 4.
But then it goes right back to 15
then it goes down to 15
because it goes
and
in the
4.
register. Okay.
So at the end of the day, you still have 15 copies on shelf, and only your draft item has been reduced, even though you're checking out in point of sale. That's how the process works. Here's the kind of dumb quirk. I don't know if it's been patched, but I think it's something we mentioned to Manage Comics a little while ago. When you're clearing a cart for a subscriber, one of the nice things the order helper tile does is it basically puts those items back onto your customer account because it knows you haven't bought them. You have not checked them out. The problem is, in the meantime, what it's done is increased your active items for those items by 1 because you're about to check out with them. But then you don't check out with them. So everything that's been in your cart has gone up by 1. We were finding that out because we would do inventories on Sundays and be like, hey, why are so many books off by 1? And weirdly, we had a week where we realized, oh, these are all books Stella gets. And I said to Molly, does Stella frequently clear her cart when she's checking out? And the answer is, like a lot of our employees, she sometimes has to because she's in the midst of a bigger transaction of her own.
And then there's someone
needs to get rung up. So it's like, nope, let's get out of that. And it's like, okay, that's what's happening. So we would then on Sundays have to correct a lot of items because it's like, we were finding it on weird ones where it's like, why are we up by 1 on a subscription-only item? We never had a copy there.
But wait. I cleared this cart.
So you should be fine then.
So I should be fine then.
Yeah, if it's the same items.
I cleared this cart because I had to ring somebody up.
Yeah, what I would recommend doing is maybe not working on that tonight then and double checking in the store tomorrow. Just pick a couple random items and see if they line up. If they do, especially like you can check the subscription only items like that Kaya variant. Check that tonight and see if it's 0, you're probably good.
Okay.
If it's -1, then you're not good.
They're not good. Okay.
That is a good catch, Patrick.
I may have saved myself like an hour's worth of work.
A lot of dumb work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 bugs combining to create something that is helpful. 2 bugs made it right, Patrick.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that happened.
So am I.
I had a sort of similar, not similar, but I mentioned it to you, but we had a transaction that errored out from Shopify. This isn't a Managed Comics thing. This is purely Shopify POS. It errored out during the tender process when you're plugging in what money you're taking.
Oh, man.
And as a result, for whatever reason, it made the barcode scanner disconnect. And it was weird because the barcode scanner was still connected through the iPad. You could go into settings and find it as a Bluetooth device. But when it scanned, nothing would show up in Shopify POS. And it was like 20 minutes of trying different setup processes, and they would never work right, and trying to disconnect it and reconnect it, and restarting the app and restarting the iPad and updating the app, and then having to get on Shopify's support ticket and then finding out, no, you have to reset account, which basically completely logs you out of the account on the iPad, and then you have to log back in, and then it works, which is the dumbest part because it's like, that seems like something that would not affect hardware.
No, not at all.
But it did. But meanwhile, it's 15 to 20 minutes on a Wednesday of people who need to get rung up. And it's like, we have to type these in by hand. We have to search for each item. And how Shopify surfaces results on a search is so dumb because you'll type in a title and it's like, okay, well, these are 3 things in that title, out of order, in no particular number, alphabetical order, but then here's like 2 things that include that word in the description, and then here's more items, and then it's like, Jesus Christ, none of this feels like it's sorted by date or by title or anything. It's just some weird algorithm that said, this is what you probably mean. Like, and so it was arduous to find like an issue of Spider-Man. That was dumb.
Spider-Man's the worst thing. Batman and Spider-Man are the worst, and X-Men
Yes.
are the worst to search.
Agreed.
Speaking of hardware, Chipper
Yes.
wouldn't wake up,
Aw. Little guy.
and Chipper is the tiny little credit card processing box we use.
Yeah, that's the Shopify one.
And it's so frustrating because it says, like, press a button to wake it up. Doesn't wake it up.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, I've been able to shut down Shopify and reopen it, and it's fine. Not the case today.
Weird.
But I'm like, fine, Square it is. But before Square even booted, Chipper woke up.
Yay.
Also, I don't know if this is a result of the story you just told,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, I wanted to check the charging levels of both devices.
Uh-huh.
Barcode scanner doesn't appear.
Weird.
Yet it shows that it's connected.
Oh, okay. I'll have
It
to
just
look at that.
it just doesn't come up in the hardware list.
It should.
Didn't.
I will have to look at that.
It's not that big of a deal. I'm like, fine, I'll charge it. And it was before I left, it was done charging. So
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, I'll
but
look into
Chipper at 86%, I'm like, you're good.
Sure.
You're good overnight.
Yeah.
Chipper, you're fine. You've earned your rest.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of hoping you'd be a little bit more annoyed at the club member who was...
I mean, it's not annoyed, but it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
It is exhausting to have to troubleshoot a lot of these Shopify things because the restrictions Shopify has on how things work are so Byzantine and unclear that it's just, you're fighting the process so much. Like, it gives you so little flexibility on how you do things. Like, just the basic thing of like, I just want to do a blanket refund. And it's like, no. You have to tell us what order that refund's on. And it's like, I don't care. It will never matter to me. I just want to like assist this one customer and get them out the door. Like, the dumbest thing about Shopify POS and the Shopify admin stuff is that even if you are the business owner, you are basically treated like an hourly employee. Like, there are things you can restrict, but even the restriction-free process is so restricted that you are constantly having to fight against dumb things that Shopify has just decided that you're not allowed to do. And it's like, I am paying you a ridiculous amount of money every month for your platform, and you're just like, no, you can't do it that way. Like, why? There's no reason why. Like, my absolute favorite, this is who Shopify is as a company thing is, you cannot reload Shopify gift cards.
Still so frustrating.
There is absolutely no conceivable reason why that would be restricted other than they don't want you to reuse gift cards. That's it. There's no reason you couldn't have like, okay, I'm rescanning this as a different order. Like, no, you can't because it's on this one order, so it can never be on another order. Like, that feels like a decision someone made at a very high level to sell you additional gift cards and nothing else. Like, when we found that out, it was a thing we'd never investigated beforehand because we never thought
we would need to.
That there would be a company that would sell you non-refundable gift cards.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So,
I hope people enjoy their physical Shopify gift cards because we ain't getting them again.
Nope. But we bought more of them than we normally do when we were doing Square cards.
Sure. Because we thought we'd be able to reuse them. Because most people are just like, I don't want this, just throw it away. And it's like, well, we can just reuse that and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. So now every gift card we sell is a bigger cost to us because
it's $1.12. It costs us $1.12 per gift card.
Yep, we lose $1.12.
Yep.
On every physical gift card that we sell now.
So when someone's like, "Hey, I had a $10 gift card," it's like, sure you don't want that to be $200?
Yeah.
Make that a little more palatable.
Sorry, we only sell physical gift cards in $100 denominations.
That's fair. So here's another exciting event from today.
I'm ready.
A customer comes in
That's nice.
saying, there's guys outside in a car waving guns around. Should I call 911?
Yes.
I'm like, what? There's guys outside basically he pulled up to park right in front, which, by the way, I didn't go outside and look at the sign restrictions today, but there were just cars in front of the store all day.
Yeah.
What about the buses?
Saturday and Sunday only.
Oh, I thought it was Fridays. Okay. So I'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, they definitely will not do work on the blue line to that extent during regular weekly usage.
Okay.
It's only Saturdays and Sundays because they at least have the cover of, well, people don't have to get to work, so it can take them a little longer, except people like me on Sunday who do have to get to work.
Yep. Yeah, but you just go to Western, so who cares?
That's true.
So he pulled up, and there were a group of guys. This is all what I was told. Mm-hmm. Smoking blunts. Mm-hmm. One dude.
Street youths.
One street youth waving a gun around, but then he's got to pull up alongside of him to back in. So he looks over, and they look at him, and the guy in the back waving the gun, yanks it down, and the guy in the front seat yanks his down. So, he parks, gets out, comes in, peeking his head out, writing license plate number down, calls 911. The operator's like, oh my God, we've been looking for that car. Thank you so much. And he said that, because he kept peeking his head out. Are you sure you want to keep doing that?
Yeah, man, I wouldn't.
Also, don't pull attention to the store. So he said it looked like they were either looking for cars to steal or they were casing businesses. He seemed to have almost as if he had seen them drive up.
Okay.
But there was a point where I saw, because he was shopping, I saw a dark brown large SUV with flashing lights go tearing by.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, there goes a cop car for that. And he looked out and the car was gone. While he was in the store, 3 different cops called him back to ask what happened. And he's like, how much more can I tell you?
Yeah.
I saw them with guns.
Guns.
I called it in.
Car.
But then he was telling that story to everybody in the store. And one guy come up, he's like, am I going to get a ticket? I'm like, I have no idea what the thing says outside.
Yeah, I didn't look at the signs, but my understanding is that the parking restrictions are only Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Until they finish their construction work, which I think is sometime in May, which can make for a fun free comic book day.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yep. I hope people like bus exhaust.
I know I do.
And the sound of idling buses.
The brake squeal. So, yeah, it was after, as they were leaving, I'm like, hey, good luck with all the cop phone calls you're going to keep getting.
Yep.
If anybody comes looking for you, I'll let you know. Not looking, but
Right, not anybody.
The note for that one on my little sheet is guns a-blazing.
Oh, nice. That's good.
There was no, the blazing part was the
blunts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun to say.
I want to point out that frequently I will complain about solicitation write-ups from anybody, from any publisher.
You have very high standards.
Well, specifically, X-23 Deadly Regenesis, which, come on.
It's not great.
Has the worst one I've read in a long time.
Oh, no.
So, here it is.
Assassin or X-Man, the deadly days of X-23. Laura Kinney, a.k.a. X-23, was cloned from Logan and trained by the facility to be a deadly assassin. Even as she tries to put that life behind her, forces will try to bring her back, and she'll fight them tooth and claw, beset by new enemies, as well as old favorites, and set during X-23's days as a member of X-Men and X-Force, when she walked away from the island of Utopia to find where she truly belongs. Join us for an all-new story in the fan-favorite saga of Laura Kinney.
Now, I want to point out that all the inflection was theirs, so I emphasized every time they capitalized a word, just so you can hear how ridiculous it is.
Okay.
And for Dal's benefit, I pre-recorded that, and I'm just plugging it in.
Okay.
So he didn't have to sit here and have me read it loud.
I see.
You don't like when I do.
But now I don't understand the context. I can't respond to the thing that you're
well, as a dedicated and professional comic store owner, you've read this this description a dozen times, I'm sure, in your normal workaday.
I probably read it
research.
once 2 months ago.
Yeah, it just basically says, Laura Kinney, who was Wolverine, has had a lot of friends and enemies in her life, and now some rear their head. It doesn't tell you anything about the story. It gives you enough to put together that this is a flashback story.
Yep. They don't really do a great job at Marvel of specifying that. Like, the Storm one, it took me a second reading of the solicit to go, oh, wait, this is all, like, retro storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't clear to me at first. I'm like, oh, I guess they're doing, like, a Storm book. Okay, like, that's cool. Like, she's a fun character. She's got a lot going on. Oh, no, this is all set, like, Mohawk era Storm.
You can't do another Storm book after Victor Baños drew one. That's it.
I guess.
It wasn't Dennis Hopeless who wrote that one as well? The Hard Eyes team?
The Jean Grey team. I don't remember.
Oh, the Jean Grey team. I'm sorry.
I don't think he did.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would do like some sort of branding for the like Untold Tales of Marvel or whatever.
You know what they should do?
To say these are flashback stories, not set in current
on
continuity.
the cover, they should have the old Marvel over the M with comics written in it logo.
It depends on what era they're from, though.
I don't care. Just the
I
shit
do.
that it's from
like
the past.
I want.
That's too. If you have too many different logos, I think that's confusing.
Or just like a little slug or something on it that basically says, like, these are stories set in the past. And, you know, obviously, if you need to indicate that to your audience, that's maybe a sign that your publishing plan doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, they finally, as a company, decided with Planet of the Apes that they were going to brand these things 20th Century Presents, Planet of the Apes, Alien, Predator, so that someone somewhere might be confused because a lot of stores rack all their Marvel books together and be like, I guess Predator's in the Marvel Universe now. Like,
sure.
Conan was. Why not?
Yeah.
And then, no, they're not. They're a separate continuity.
It's just a solicitation that just says, all it's saying in once, it's a full, long paragraph that literally is saying, it's an X-23 comic.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that they wouldn't...
They don't list credits. They don't list who's writing or drawing. Like, granted, that's elsewhere in a listing if you're looking, but not in the solicitation blurb.
Right.
Half of their blurbs do have who they're by.
I guess it depends on the creative team. Sometimes there's like, we got so-and-so to do this book, and it's like, wow, it's pretty exciting. And sometimes it's, you got people who don't necessarily have a dedicated fan base, and therefore calling them out is maybe not a good use of your solicitation copy. There's been times that when I've had to do condensed versions of solicit, sometimes it's like, oh, let me call out this writer or this artist.
Yeah.
Other times it's like, I'm just going to mention what the book's about, because if I told you who was writing and drawing it, you wouldn't know who that was.
Sure.
It would not move the needle for you if you were, especially if it's people who have done books outside of Marvel and DC that are not necessarily like the Marvel and DC books that they're doing. Then who cares, you know? Yeah, I don't love all of the retro books that they're doing. The X-Men Legends book was a thing that even when they were hitting characters that I was fond of, like Longshot, it's still like, why are you doing this? And the X-23 book feels very like, why are we getting retro X-23 stories? Why not a new X-23 story?
Right. I
mean, she was just in X-Terminators, but she's not in the X-Men book anymore. That's a different Laura Kinney. Do something, like, move the stories forward. I don't love backwards-looking superhero stories. I find them to be usually, again, an indicator that a publisher does not have a coherent publishing strategy. They are just throwing whatever they can against the wall to make the quarterly numbers look good.
Well, then there's always the opportunity for new books.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically have a no Kickstarter rule for challengers, meaning we don't necessarily want to go out of the way to support Kickstarter projects because, A, we've been burned almost unanimously in the past.
Yeah.
And B, if it's a bigger name book, for example, Carl Kerschel has a new Kickstarter, we're sure it's going to find a publisher.
Yeah, the biggest problem that we have with Kickstarters is that the retailer levels are usually an amount of copies at a per unit price where we're like, no thanks.
Now, on the other hand, our good friend Marcus Annasso and our good friend Jason Muir, the creators of Voracious, and the current book, By the Horns, right now they're doing a Kickstarter for a fancy hardcover version of By the Horns Volume 1.
Oh, neat.
And they've got a lot of cool stretch goals and things. They've got a new Jason Muir cover. They got a alternate cover drawn by I think, vocalist of Marcuson's favorite metal band.
Okay.
Which, since it's a Marcuson band, it is a metal band. It is not a Patrick metal band.
Right.
They've got a drinking horn.
Okay.
Which
cool.
I really want.
The unicorn horn? Is that what it is?
No, it's a curved horn like a normal.
Okay.
Fancy bottle opener. They got a lot of fun stuff. I had asked Marcuson to record a drop-in for that.
Okay.
For us to run during the length of the campaign.
Okay.
Don't have it yet, so this is my version of that. I'm sure if you go to Kickstarter and search Buy the Horns, there you go. That is also an unsolicited Kickstarter recommendation because we like those guys. That book does well for us. We'll probably do some sort of launch party for it or something anyway.
Okay, cool.
However, I'm also going to mention another Kickstarter book.
Okay.
And this was waiting for me in that giant stack of mail you had left for me.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is a book called Hard Justice, and the co-creator and writer is Wesley Gift, who is a big supporter of David Harper's Off Panel podcast from Sketch.com. And he specifically wrote to me because of my appearances on Off Panel.
And that's why I left it for you.
And his book is called Hard Justice. You might be wondering, who is this book for? Which we're always wondering.
You are, yes.
Aren't you?
I am always wondering it, even when it's not a book that I'm going to carry.
Fans of characters such as Power Man and Iron Fist, Deadpool, or Booster Gold. Lots of face-punching martial arts action and plenty of humor. Readers who enjoyed Do a Powerbomb, I Hate Fairland, Shirtless Bear Fighter, or Blood Force Trauma, coming soon from Dark Horse. Tagline, Lethal Weapon meets Double Dragon.
Okay.
Right? So, gives us all the information we want, right?
Yep.
Still, that's not enough for me to go out of my way to mention this Kickstarter.
Okay.
Enclosed, you'll find 30 flyers with information, a sticker, blah, 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 blah. Fine. As a thank you for your time and consideration, I've included a $15 Starbucks gift card, so please treat yourself to a hot cup of coffee on me.
We can be bought.
You want us to support your Kickstarter, to promote your Kickstarter? Mm-hmm. The price is now a $15 Starbucks gift card.
Does it have to be Starbucks? Can we...
I mean,
That's for you to support.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't agreed to do anything. I've received no compensation whatsoever for this.
Equal amounts to Dunkin', is that fine? What do you want, Al?
McDonald's. Do McDonald's gift card.
Okay.
You can't load a gift card into their app?
That's stupid.
Isn't that so dumb?
You know what I've already done?
It has to be like a credit card.
I've loaded that gift card into my app already. The thing with the Dunkin' and Starbucks apps is you load that in as a separate gift card.
Yeah.
And then you have to transfer the balance to your balance.
Interesting.
And then you have to delete the gift card.
Yeah. Most other apps that I've used, you either add it as a balance and it deducts from that, or you do it with Starbucks. The McDonald's app just finally updated to allow you to start and finish an order before you actually get to the restaurant, which was always the dumbest thing about it. Like,
wow.
If you tried to...
Progress.
If you were at Challengers and you were like, I want to get something at the McDonald's at the end of the block, and you tried to check out, it'd be like, oh, you're not here yet. You gotta be here. And then it's like, well, then you're saving me almost no time. So it seems like enough people complained about that.
That they're fixing it?
That now you can do it. Like they're also telling you, we're not going to hold these orders forever. They don't have one of those racks of pickup orders or whatever. It's at the counter. So at a certain point, they're just going to throw it away. But you can now, if you are, say, on a train, and you are several miles away, but several miles is also like 6 minutes, you can start your order and then get off the train, and then the order's ready for you.
That was the thing the Dunkin' app does.
Yeah.
When you go to place an order, it's like, hey, geographically, you're far away from this restaurant. Are you sure you want to order? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, and turn this notification off. Because I'm on the highway. Right. I will be there in under 5 minutes.
Yeah. One of the funny things, I'm sure people love this discussion of fast food apps,
on a comics industry business podcast,
is that when I'm on the blue line headed towards the store, and I go onto the McDonald's app, I might start it a couple stops early because it's going to take me a minute to order everything and check out and everything else.
Can you save favorites?
You can, but the tricky thing is I'm always using their deals.
Oh, so you can't do it that way.
You can't save the deals.
Okay.
You got to hit them with the deal.
Hit them with the deal.
The dumb thing is, when you load up the app, no matter, you can have favorite restaurants, but like it will always find the closest McDonald's and go like, okay, well, this is the one you're going to go to. So when you're on the train, it'll just, wherever you are on the train, it will just find the closest one. So if I have to go back into the app several times, it'll keep changing what McDonald's I'm getting my food at because I'm rocketing past Chicago Avenue or Division or whatever. And it's like, no, just this one. Just the one on Western. Please. Thank you.
Have you heard about Funko's issues?
Their financial issues?
Yes.
Their massive inventory issues?
Yes.
Yes, I have. I think it's hilarious.
How they're going to dump
over
$30 million worth of product into a landfill.
Yeah.
Because they need the room because they're paying all this. Their new warehouse is already full.
Yeah.
And they've been paying to rent storage containers off-site.
Yeah. That was always the Marvel thing of like why back in the day the Marvel like premiere hardcovers would go on sale for dirt cheap incredibly fast because it was just Marvel would rather take pennies on the dollar than pay money to store these things. Storage space costs money. And a lot of times, they would just end up pulping a lot of stuff because just having the space back was more valuable than trying to wring out a few additional percentage points.
Sure. I mean, I'd be lying if we said we didn't encounter the same thing on a very, very micro scale.
Yeah, we usually donate. That's the thing. Like, we'll give stuff to open
They're
books.
donating to the earth.
Which I'm a little surprised that Funko isn't, like, give them to children's hospitals or something.
Do something.
I mean, it's a write-off. I'm sure it's still a write-off to throw them away as well. But yeah, it's a little surprising that they would just go to the step of throwing them in the garbage, if for no other reason than the optics of Funko having to say, these are so valueless, and there's so goddamn many of them, that we are throwing them away, is maybe not great if you're a collectibles company.
I did read in the same article that a pair of Willy Wonka pops sold for $100,000.
Seems like a lot of money.
It seems like a lot of money for pops.
I guess I'm not super surprised. I don't keep up on the values of pop vinyls. My only real exposure to the aftermarket on those is being at C2E2 and walking by the many pop vendors and them having Post-it notes on certain ones where it's like, oh, that's $700. Oh, that's an $850 variant pop. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone bring one to the show that was over $1,000, but they must exist.
Sure. Maybe one of your 6 will be worth them someday.
I doubt it. I mean, that X-23 is pretty cool.
They're worth a lot to you.
They're worth so much to me, you have no idea.
I do, because one of them you bought twice.
I did accidentally, for $5, I think. Some small amount. I don't think it was $5. I think it was
like $8.
Yeah, like the lowest amount that Kokomo Toys would sell a pop vinyl for. Yeah. Which is why I rolled the dice. I'm like, I think I have this, but I might not, and it's worth $8 to find out.
I can't tell you how often I look at my pops and say, those can all go.
Right.
I haven't pulled that trigger yet, but...
It's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, even growing my collection by one in the last calendar year is still a thing of like, I got to keep an eye on that. I don't want to have a bunch of pop vinyls.
Sure.
I already have 6, and that seems like a lot for me.
Yeah, that's almost as many as I have.
On one shelf.
That's real close. You're coming close to mine.
Yeah.
Did you read Danger and Other...
I meant to.
What is it called? Untold Dangers?
Danger and Other...
Unknown, Untold?
I don't remember. I have it in my Google Drive. I meant to read that.
I have it in my Dropbox.
I meant to read that and Indigo Children today, but I just didn't get around to it, unfortunately.
We were one of the stores, and brass tacks I fully expected us to be.
Danger and Other Unknown Risks.
Other Risks, okay. Anybody who listens to this should sign up for Danger and Other Unknown Risks because it is an original graphic novel by Ryan North and Erica Henderson, and they're the Squirrel Girl team.
It's currently, I think it's available for pre-order still.
Yeah.
It is available in both a softcover and a hardcover.
It better be because it was in the Challenger's email today.
Yeah, so I guess at FOC's this weekend probably.
Oh, which means that by the time people hear this, they can't.
Not
Patrons
necessarily.
can.
They can on Sunday. I think you can still do FOCs.
This doesn't go up until late Sunday night.
Oh,
just email us. We want you to get this book.
If you go to Manage Comics and you cannot pre-order it, please let us know. We will make sure you get a copy.
There was a point today where Gina was saying like, "Oh, I got to add high school and I got to add this." I'm like, "What are you saying?" And I realized, "Oh, I haven't looked at the
previews or the sign,
the list in front of the register." I'm like, "Oh, let me look. Oh, I got to make. Are we copying over anybody for Avengers?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the copy overs for this month, I think it's a long list and it's in the email, but Avengers, yes. something else.
Because I'm like, oh, I got to be down for Avengers. She's like, should I be down for Avengers? I'm like, do you read Avengers? I can't answer that. Yes, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, we copied everyone over. Since if it were an additional title, no. But if it's the main title, then
Sure.
yes. Until people tell us they don't want Avengers
Like
anymore.
we did for Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah, the internal rule for me is always, if this would have just been the next numbered issue, were these books being published in the 1980s, then yes,
Yeah.
you absolutely still get it.
Okay.
But if it would have been like Web of Spider-Man, then it's like, no, I'm not copying you over. That's a different book.
Yeah, we didn't copy over people to adjectiveless Spider-Man.
Right.
Which I thought that was a 6-issue mini, but that book just keeps going.
Yeah, it's at least 7, and I want to say it's going to 8. I don't understand it.
That's okay. I told Chad Klein that
really
Miracle
don't
Man
like that
ended
book.
at 5 when it ends at 7.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that Spider-Man book.
It seems like it's not current.
Yeah, well, it's uncompelling. Like, is the short version. Like, they're fighting a villain, and I'm like, I don't know. You're just some bug lady.
Yeah.
You're not interesting. You're just some bug lady. And your thing is you're making everyone bugs. Okay, great. Like, the stakes of it are so... Like, this should be a 14-page story that the fact that we're at issue 7... And there have been some interesting parts. Like, there was an alternate, like, issue 6 or something, 5 or 6 was
I'm not that far.
an alternate history for a different... Like, because this is all variants of Spider-Man. So it's a different Peter Parker. And it's a version where I'm like, oh, this is actually, like, a fun way to tell this story. Like, the consequences and the things that happen to the character are like, oh, this is pretty cool. But it's amongst a sea of things where I'm like, I don't care about any of this.
That makes me realize that virtually every Marvel character has 2 iterations, and
Yeah.
I don't mean 2. I mean either they're a new version of a lineage,
Right.
Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, or there's dozens of multiverse versions of them.
Right.
And just, it goes on.
Yeah.
Name a character.
I can't.
It happens.
The only one who's unique anymore is Gwenpool. I'm sorry. Oh, wait. She's based on that Deadpool.
See?
Oh, no. Power Pack.
For now. Only because they're not doing anything.
I'm a sucker for Power Pack merchandise. There's not a
There
lot of
isn't
it.
any.
There's not a lot of it.
That's why you are.
So I can be very undiscerning about that. But this was the week where I became discerning about it.
Oh?
There was a variant cover for a book. I think it was this week or maybe last week. There was a variant cover for a book. One of the spooky books, like Unforgiven maybe or something else. There's a Peach Momoko variant.
Okay.
There's a Peach Momoko variant of Power Pack
Okay.
as vampires.
Huh.
Like Draculas with capes and fangs. And I'm like, no.
Was it cute, though?
It was okay. I'm not a Peach Momoko fan.
Yeah.
But if she had just drawn Power Pack, I would have been like, God, maybe I need to get this. But
No, you don't do that.
I
You
really
haven't bought
don't.
other ones.
I don't. Like, I think I passed up the Power Pack 61 or 63 or whatever the legacy book that they released a few years ago was.
Yeah, because it was Ryan Stegman cover. If it wasn't
No. I mean the one shot. I mean the miniseries. Back when they were doing, like...
Yeah, no, I know. But didn't he do the cover to that one?
No. He did the cover to the Ryan North miniseries.
Okay.
The cover to that one, I think, was like Mike McCone or somebody.
Oh.
And then the variant was by somebody else. I don't remember who.
I do remember Ryan Stegman's
They
not
made a poster, too.
not fitting Power Pack cover.
So many good covers to that first issue, and they did the Ryan Stegman one as a poster, and I went, no, I can't. No, thank you.
I will admit that when I said save the It's Jeff poster to be hung up,
Uh-huh.
I also meant hang it up.
Oh, we didn't have a chance. I'm sorry.
Okay. I hung it up.
Okay, thanks.
I was on a ladder.
Okay.
All the way up top.
I appreciate that.
Like Hobbs.
Wow. Were you also scared of getting down?
Are you kidding? I was scared of getting up.
I can't believe he really got himself into a predicament there. You could tell he was on top, and he was like,
reach.
I don't know, because wrong ladder.
Also, that ladder was completely mangled, and
Yeah, he hit somebody with it.
he should have swapped out ladders, it's true. But he needed to hold on to the brass ring to get himself up to the clip to unhook
Yeah.
it. And then you could see him, like he stands, he posed, you see him like shout down to somebody, and then he's got to gingerly bend over.
Oh yeah, I mean the physics of being gigantic Will Hobbs and being on a very small top of a ladder that is on a wrestling mat, which is just plywood and tarp, and is not made to be sturdy. That's the whole point of it. On a ladder that is also mostly destroyed, that needed 4 officials to hold it enough that he could bend over enough to get some sort of additional stability to remove 1 foot and move it down a level so he could actually descend the ladder.
Which he did very quickly, that moving of that foot.
Because what are his alternatives? Jumping off? I mean, you better land right.
All I'm saying is if it was Commander who won, he would have just jumped to the rope and walked to the corner and then stepped down.
I thought he would have jumped off of the ladder onto the top rope, used it as a springboard to propel himself directly into the backstage area, and never touched the ground.
That guy...
It was insane.
Who we've never seen before is capital A amazing.
Yeah, it was very cool.
I was so disappointed there was no Commander's All Elite graphic immediately after that match. That guy.
They have a lot of high-flying guys now, and they don't have enough time to showcase all of them.
Oh, man. That guy put on a clinic.
Where's Bandito? Isn't Bandito All Elite?
Travel issues.
There's a guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a new month, and it's now time to thank our Patreon supporters, including our annual patrons, Becca Hilburn and Joseph Coco, Brent Helt, Dal's mom, Diane Bush, Philip Sablik from Boom Studios, Jose Villagomez, Josh Crowley of Westfield Comics, our bestest wrestling watching pal, Michael Lee, Michael Romanenko, Mike Loveday, our patrons who have created their own tier, Andrew, Drew Troit Comics, Aaliyah, Bridget K. Neville, Chris Burton, Claudine Neville, our other generous patrons from the Say My Name pledge level, Arun Singh, Ben-Hur Benedict Calaguas, Brad Brooks from Dumb Shit Done Well, Braden, Managed Comic Zone, Brian Garside, Christopher Haith, President of the Brian Garside Fan Club, Django Boren, Drew Triner and Ashley Edwards, Challengers Reservist, Fallon Mackerline, my brother, George Brower, Heidi D., Holly Aitchison, Jacob Sorelli of Kamikaze, Josh Trigg, Mark Hammond of Aw Yeah Comics, Margie, Keith, Logan, and Malcolm Springham, Matt Armstrong, Mitchell Davies of All-Star Comics in Melbourne, Australia, Morgan Dynamite Perry, Nick Baldwin, my longtime pal Robert Burns, Ron Payne, Ryan Hecht, Sean Bowers, Tad Eggleston and Johnny Williams, Thomas Nagovin of Century Guild, Walt Grogan. And if you want to hear your name thanked on this very podcast once a month, head over to patreon.com/challengers and pledge at the $5 Say My Name level. And a big thank you to all our other patrons at the various other pledge levels. I read Neighbors #1 from Boom this week.
How was it?
It's very creepy.
Okay.
It's the art is very similar to
Creepy like a trailer that would run in front of Cocaine Bear?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think those were more...
Cocaine Bear ran nothing but horror movie trailers that were incredibly disturbing to me.
This is more creepy than... I think this is more like Megan creepy than...
Okay. So like
Evil Dead Rise creepy.
A little bit of a comedy? No?
No. Just more...
Atmospheric horror?
Yeah.
Not jump scares?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, we don't know what the horror is.
Okay.
You can rely on your neighbors. There's good people around here.
Okay.
It's a line from the book.
Like a good neighbor.
And but the art is very Something's Killing the Children-esque.
Okay. Werther Dillard.
And it's very moody. It's very atmospheric. We don't know what's going on, but at least it's not a book full of telling you what's happened.
Okay.
Like, it's a mom, their new partner,
okay,
and her daughter moved to a creepy little small town.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there's 2 daughters. One is like a teenager, one is like a toddler.
Okay.
The toddler comes across what looks like a witch playing with snakes in the yard next door.
Okay.
Yeah, really don't know what's happening. But it's definitely like, ooh, okay. I think Boom is on a really good run with horror books.
It's definitely a niche they've carved out. I think a lot of people, because of something like Something is Killing the Children, have looked to them as a company that does a very specific brand of kind of YA-oriented supernatural horror.
You had mentioned Indigo Children before, and they worked with Brandon from Variant Edition on a stealth promotional campaign.
Yeah, I'd read about that.
That was one of the things that you'd saved for me
in
the
really?
mail.
Okay.
So it's an ash can, but it's all redacted letters and...
Like, the gimmick for the book that I haven't read yet, but according to the solicit text and some of the emails, is basically like it's Department of Truth meets like the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, that's a good tagline.
Where like a group of superpowered children disappeared 15 years ago, and an investigative reporter is trying to figure out what happened to them. So there's a level of like the story that's being presented to you is through the lens of this guy who's trying to put clues together. So the promotional campaign is someone is trying to stop you, the reader, from getting to the truth, or is trying to get the truth to you around people who don't want you to have it, like that kind of stuff. And they launched it with a like. The first few people who got the thing were like, you're supposed to kind of go online and play into it and be like, what is this? Where are the Indigo Children or whatever? Which obviously we're not doing right this second. We're just talking about what it is as two retailers.
And look, I appreciate that, but I fully support all creators reaching out to stores to be like, hey, here's an ash can.
Right.
Here's information. We had another package.
Here's a Starbucks gift card even. Just
saying, from McDonald's. We had Mike Norton's Rock Gods of Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Also had a kit that came in the mail with ash cans.
3 ash cans, one for me, one for Patrick, one for Molly Jane, which is very considerate.
Which is very nice of them, but I have a full PDF of the book. I'm not finished with it yet because what I do is it's a long graphic novel, so I have it open on my window. A tab open for it.
Okay.
But every time the computer reboots or shuts off, I forget that it was open.
Oh, sure.
So I'm more than halfway done.
Okay.
This is Mike, as far as I know, this is Mike Norton's whole concept, and he brought it to Rafer Roberts, who's his frequent collaborator.
Yeah, they grumble together.
Yep. And it's definitely a hair metal-esque book.
Okay.
It's a thrown together rock band who has a chance to high school rock band who has a chance to open for their idols so long as they can get their shit together, figure out what's happening. Oh, and save the town from these deformed, mutated monsters.
Okay. I wish them luck. I plan on reading that soon as well.
So my point is, I love getting this promo stuff.
Right.
But I was out for 9 days.
Uh-huh.
So having a stack of it, it's like, oh my God, this all becomes
Some
obligation.
of that must have just shown the last couple of days because I didn't leave you a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so the thing about the...
We also got, while I'm talking about the mail that came, the signed book plates for Tyler Crook's Lonesome Hunters.
Oh, great.
I did an Instagram post for that today.
Okay.
That got virtually no traction. But if anybody is interested in the Tyler Crook Lonesome Hunters graphic novel, of which we have several copies, they now come with a signed book plate.
Cool.
Thank you, Tyler Crook. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Crook.
I was going to go back real quickly to the Kurt Pyers Indigo Children promotion. I really do like that sort of hard copy stuff where it's... I don't need a lot of promotional items, but an ash can, great, thanks, I'll read this. I don't like the play along with our alternate reality game thing.
Yeah.
That, and this is the harshest criticism I can give anything in 2023, it's a real bad idea sort of thing.
That was going through my head the whole time.
I don't want to do that. I see why a publisher or creator might think that's fun, but for me it's let me talk to my customers like they're adult human beings instead of a child that needs to be coaxed into going to see the doctor or something. This doesn't need to be a game that we play. It can just be hey, here's this really cool book that we're really excited about. That can be a thing. Yeah, I don't want to press a button. I'm sorry.
Way back in, 2001, maybe, when I was working downtown, we got a promotional kit that we didn't know was a promotional kit. And it wasn't for a comic. It was for a movie. And it's the kind of thing that, had they told us what it was, I may have kept it, given it out, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it was a stack of videotapes.
I don't think I know this.
And I think you'll remember. When you put it in, it's a flash of crazy black and white images, like a ladder falling alone in a room.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, like a farm. There's a voice that whispers, 7 days. And it ends with an image of a girl crawling out of a well.
Okay.
The Ring.
Oh, yeah, this was a long time ago.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I thought you meant, maybe I missed the part where you said it was for another store, because I said
back in 2001.
Oh, I thought you said 2021.
No, I said 2001.
Okay.
When I was working downtown.
Okay. Well, that's, when you said...
I know you don't listen to these after they're recorded.
So, that I thought, because I was clearly only catching a few words here and there, I thought you meant the River North store. So I was like, I don't know what what this promotion is.
I would have said on the south side if I was talking about River North. Yeah, it was a promotion for the Ring.
Okay.
And do you realize what those could have sold for as well? Which isn't the point.
Right. You would have just given them away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of that stealth marketing is...
Viral marketing is
if you're not in on it, like, you don't know what this is or what you're supposed to do with it.
Right.
Like, you have to tell businesses what you're... Like, that was... Not to bring it back to bad idea, but that was always the bad idea thing of, like, we were never clued in on anything. So people would ask us... Customers would ask us questions, and it would be like, I don't know what to tell you.
Nope.
And that's bad. Like, that's a bad position for me to be in as a store owner, is selling a product and being like, I can't answer your question about this because they haven't told us. I don't know. So, yeah, that... I now have a perpetual... bad taste in my mouth for those sorts of marketing campaigns.
Understood. Hey, let's point out that on Sunday, March 12th, from noon to 2, the Sketchy Twins, the Satrin sisters, will be signing Faye and the Moon at Challengers.
Yes.
It's a Sunday afternoon signing. Faye and the Moon is written by Franco, who will not be at the signing. Drawn by the Satrin sisters, and it's a Sunday afternoon signing, so you can bring the whole family. You got something to do.
Yeah.
It is not Easter at all.
No.
Actually, it's a week from Sunday. So it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
And then on the 31st, our actual 15th anniversary.
Yep.
We're throwing a 15th anniversary party at the store, 7 p.m. to, whenever.
Question mark?
There are, I'm not going to name names, but it's C2E2 weekend. So there's a lot of creators in town. And a lot of creators have been invited to the party.
Nice.
And I will say that I've been told there'll be an appearance by someone who shares a name with a sexy, long-locked romance cover model from years past, and also a celestial body.
Yes. I've heard that too.
So there's that.
Okay, great.
But I mean, amongst many other people who have said, yes, they're coming, but I don't want to put anybody on the spot. No,
of course not. I mean, I'm always hesitant to say who's going to be at like a party or something because plans can change.
Yeah, of course. The Silent E's, both of them.
Yes.
And more. But anyway, that is the 31st.
And maybe even Patrick.
And maybe. Don't come just for Patrick.
Once again, plans can change.
Spider Jerusalem may be there in all of her glory. Yeah, don't come just for Patrick. Do we have anything in April? I can't remember now.
I think April question mark is 8 Billion Genies.
No, it won't be because the book keeps getting pushed back.
Okay, because that's the one I remember being
right,
on the calendar.
now in the calendar it's May question mark.
Oh, okay.
But I doubt it. There's got to be a issue.
Sure. 8.
Issue 8 is still being worked on.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit. Something for that. I can't remember.
Historia, but I don't remember when
that's the first week of June.
Yeah.
Gene Ha for Wonder Woman, the Amazons. Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons.
Yes.
And other stuff to be announced later, including our Free Comic Book Day guests, plural.
Plurial.
And then the giant June 23rd mystery.
Yes.
And maybe by next week we'll have read more previews.
I hope so.
Yeah.
They're as close as they can be to being read without actually having been read yet. So hopefully in the next couple days I'll figure that out.
We're getting there.
I'll learn to read.
Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.